Let's look closely at each tier and what it means for classroom teachers. Tier 1, where teachers play the biggest role. As a classroom teacher, you are the foundation of Tier 1, and your role here is essential. This means delivering high-quality, standards-based instruction, establishing clear routines and expectations, strengthening core values of be safe, be respectful, and be responsible, creating an inclusive classroom that supports social-emotional learning. Most students will succeed with strong Tier 1 instruction, so this is where we invest most of our energy. Tier 1 supports are provided to all students and focus on prevention and high-quality instruction. Here are concrete examples of Tier 1 implementation in a classroom setting. Academic Tier 1 examples. 1. Standards-based instruction. Teaching is aligned with the Texas Essential Knowledge Standards, or TEKS, using a structured curriculum. 2. Differentiated instruction, providing multiple ways for students to access content. For example, using visual aids, hands-on materials, choice boards, and knowing how your students learn best. 3. Formative assessments. For example, using exit tickets, quizzes, total physical response strategies, think, pair, share to gauge student understanding during instruction. 4. Flexible grouping. For example, grouping students temporarily based on current needs or skill levels during class activities. 5. Scaffolded supports. For example, providing sentence starters, graphic organizers, or word banks. Behavioral Tier 1 examples. Clear expectations and routines. For example, teaching classroom rules and procedures explicitly with a graphic organizer and revisiting them regularly, based on the CBE's core values: be safe, be respectful, be responsible. Positive behavior supports. For example, using explicit and connected acknowledgments, bear brag boards, and class celebrations to reinforce desired behaviors. Consistent consequences. Use connected corrections by naming the expectation, redirecting calmly, and applying consequences consistently. These are clear, fair responses to misbehavior that always link back to both the expectation and the relationship. When students experience a system that is predictable and fair, they feel safe and respected, even when they make mistakes. Calm down areas. These allow all students access to a designated space to self-regulate before returning to learning. Students have been taught how to appropriately use calm down area. Social-emotional Tier 1 examples. 1. Reach and respond. These are daily morning greetings and temperature check. This builds strong relationships and lets you know your students' learning readiness before instruction starts. 2. Community circles. This is a time where the class comes together every day. This is the time for students to build relationships and talk about feelings or experiences. 3. Socio-emotional learning, teaching skills like empathy, self-control, goal setting. For example, using harmony education, second step, or zones of regulation. 4. Mindfulness activities, incorporating breathing exercises, short meditations, or brain breaks into the day. 5. Cultural responsiveness, ensuring materials and discussions reflect diverse cultures and backgrounds of your students to promote belonging. Key takeaways. Tier 1 is about doing what's best for all students. When Tier 1 is strong and consistent, fewer students will need Tier 2 or Tier 3 interventions.